everybody. Welcome back to a special edition of the show tonight. We're going to remember the great comedic actor Fred Willard, who sadly passed away about 2 weeks ago as we do this live on a Saturday night, June 6th of 2020. 86 years old, but he left a great legacy of comedy over the years. One of those actors that kind of appeared on a bunch of shows over the years and always kind of made an impression with his style, offbeat style of comedy, but he was around a long time. I didn't realize he was in his 80s when he passed away. I thought he might have been a little bit younger. But I remember him first, I guess as most people do, from Fernwood Tonight. As you see in the background, the Fernwood Tonight set, which was back in 1977 and again in 78. There was two summer series. I did not realize, I'd forgotten that it was only on in the summer. I remember watching it back then, but it was a summer series that was kind of a summer replacement series for the show Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Those characters that appeared on Mary Hartman also appeared, some of them on Fernwood Tonight, which was a fictional talk show in the town of Fernwood, which Mary Hartman took place. But it was kind of a groundbreaking show, maybe a little bit ahead of its time, as you had Martin Mull as the kind of little bit sleazy host of the talk show, and Fred Willard was his sidekick, his Ed McMahon, Jerry Hubbard, a little bit on the dim side, but a very funny show. And a lot of people remember that from watching it then, and did a little bit in reruns over the years. Kind of a cult show. You have to kind of look for it. I don't know if it's on anywhere now on any of the cable channels, but anyway, that's the show I first remember him on. But he was on the television way before that, going back to the early Tonight Show with Johnny Carson back in the 1960s. He was part of the comedy team, the Ace Trucking Company, which did a lot of sketches. They were on the Tonight Show, I believe. Fred Willard said maybe 50, 60 times over the years. Did Mike Douglas and a lot of the talk shows, and it was a group of great performers that would kind of go on these shows and do a sketch. Some of it improvised, some of it obviously prepared as well, but they made their mark doing that. And, of course, Fred Willard appeared on so many comedy shows over the years. Everybody Loves Raymond was one of the last ones that he did, and did a lot of movies, too. Waiting for Guffman, I believe, was one, and several others as well. So we're going to spend a few minutes remembering the work of Fred Willard. You'll see first a sketch he did. He did a lot of these kind of fake interview sketches on The Tonight Show, even with Jay Leno. After Johnny left, Fred appeared on with Jay Leno many, many times, kind of as, again, a offbeat character. But you'll see a piece of a sketch they did where Fred is a travel agent. You'll also see part of an interview that Fred did for the Academy of Television, talking a little bit about his career, and we'll also see a little short piece of Fred on Fernwood Tonight. So we will do that as we remember the great Fred Willard.
Summer travel experts in this country. So let's go live via satellite to Pismo Beach into the office of Mr. Willard J. Fredericks and talk to him about options for travel this summer. Mr. Fredericks, are you there? Let's see what you see, Mr. Fredericks. There he is right there.
Yes, I'm here, Jay.
Well, thanks for talking to us.
It's my pleasure.
I understand you own your own travel company. What is it called?
Quadruple A.
Quadruple A. Kind of a play on word. Is that because it's one better than triple A? Is that why?
No, it's because it was formed by two members of AA.
Oh, I see. Now, do you offer roadside assistance?
You bet. I know what that can be like.
Oh, so you've been in an accident.
Well, I got rear-ended once, but it was years ago, and I'm happily married now.
I see.
It's all in the past, or should I say, that's all behind me.
Yeah, good.
Am I being too naughty?
No, just...
We're having a lot of fun here,
yeah,
so I'm trying to concentrate.
Well, let's get back to the question at hand here. Do you like to book your travel online?
Online? Yes, Jay. Surprisingly, the internet is not just for porn anymore. At least that's what they tell me.
Yeah.
Gee. Remember Jack Benny?
Yes.
Gee.
Yeah, yes. Now, this summer, a lot of people will be driving. What's the solution to high gas prices this summer?
Switching over to ethanol.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Really, yeah.
And after about 3 of these, I'm no longer knocking and pinging.
I see.
Pinging, did I say that right?
Yeah, let me ask you.
We're celebrating, yes,
if you can talk to me rather than the person off camera.
Of course, it's a big party.
Now, Mr. Freddy, for fun getaways, where can you get the best bang for your buck?
Beats me, I've never been banged for a buck. Smitty, thank you, Smitty. me cut that out.
No,
Remember
no.
that, Jay? Now cut that out.
Yeah, right, yes. Apparently, Mr. Frederick's a lot older than he appears. Now, let me ask you, now what?
Jay, I understand you were influenced early on by court jesters.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, yes. Now, let me ask you, now what?
Don't say I'm older than I... Yes, go ahead.
What are some tourist attractions, perhaps a little closer to home?
Closer to home. Well, Jay, right up the road in Barstow,
Yes.
people can go see the world's largest ball of meth.
Really? That sounds like fun.
The ball of meth.
Really? Now, have you done any travel consulting for celebrities? Did you do
Yes,
that?
I hate to blow my own horn, but I have, as a matter of fact. I recently arranged a trip for Wilfred Brimley.
Wilford Brimley, sure. He was big when Jack Benny was a young man. Yes. Wilford
And I
Brimley.
understand those court jesters.
Yeah.
Did Lincoln really speak at your high school graduation? That must have been a memory, honestly.
I got him the theater tickets. Now let me ask you about Wilford Brimley now.
Well, why not take
I
a shot?
want to get back to where the joke is going.
Please be quiet. We're talking here seriously. We're having a
You have
celebration.
footage of Wilford Brimley on vacation?
Yes, I booked him on a spiritually enlightening vacation to India. He even shot some home video. I don't know if we have time for this.
Let's
he
see.
sent me the clip. Can we show that
There's Wilford
clip?
Brimley in India. All right. There he is right there. Well, that was certainly worth the big setup. Let me ask you, before we go, let's talk about various destinations.
Okay.
Now, I hear Mexico is popular.
Well, tell that to the Mexicans.
All right.
So in improvising, they teach you, they say, don't go for jokes, just listen to your partner, which I try to do, but occasionally, like Jane Lynch plays my partner, the co-host, and she's, we have a story coming up on blind prostitutes coming up next. And I said, you know what they say about blind prostitutes? You really have to hand it to them. And,
Oh, my goodness.
now, Paul, I just looked at Paul and he was going like that. Is that the rudest thing you've ever...
Fred, for
a
God's
mature
sake.
musician, isn't it?
Gee.
I'm sorry. You can edit that out.
I got a call to go in to see the people who are doing this show called Fernwood Tonight. And whoever called me said they want you to be the host. And I said, oh, that's interesting, because at Second City I had played, we'd done the a show about an amateur hour, where I was the host of a show called The Amateur Hour, and all these awful amateurs came on. One of them played a musical broom, and one of them had a catatonic fit on the show. And I said, that's right down my alley. And meanwhile, I'd done a pilot for a show called Space Patrol or something. I was a spoof on Star Trek and those shows. So I thought, I was the star of that. I said, gee, I'll be a star of a sitcom. That'll be great. So they called me in. They said, no, you're not going to be the host. You're going to be the co-host. You're going to be like the Ed McMahon. And I said, gee, I'm not quite right for that. They said, Martin Muller's going to be the host. I said, oh, God, he's great. I just seen him in a club. I said, but to be the Ed McMahon, I started listing other people who would be good for it. And they said, no, don't list other people. Everyone thinks you'll be just right for it. And I said, I don't know. I've done this pilot for this this space spoof. And they said, well, again, they said, would you just come in for a week while we do run-throughs until we find someone who'll be right for it? I said, okay, sure. So I went in, and I found it so hip, and I just fell in love with Martin Mull. He had such a sharp sense of humor that after about 4 or 5 days, I went up to them, and I said, guys, I think I'd like to do this. I mean, it was much... I wasn't the Ed McMahon. As Martin Mull pointed out several times, it was not a spoof of The Tonight Show, because that would last about one night. What it was is a show, a cable show that came on in this little town of Fernwood, where Mary Hartman was done, and someone wondered what it would be like if they had their own cable talk show. So we did it, and the first night, I would sit next to Martin, and then they'd move me down as the guests came on, and I would sit further and further down. And Norman Lear wanted it to be like a one-camera show, that when it came time for the guest to speak, they'd set the camera on him, and it was my turn, the camera on the third person. And one of the producers, who was Alan Thicke, a lot of people don't know that, said, Norman, we can't do that. It would take forever. Just make it like a talk show. So Alan said, well, okay, do what you want. So I think Martin and I clicked so well that they redid the first show. They said, let's leave Fred sitting next to Martin. So this crazy interplay.
Kids, you should listen to this too, because you'll grow old. Remember me when I have passed away. Remember that I lived and died, as you will too one day. If I can write these few short lines, it will not be in vain. If after I am dead and gone, you still recall my name, remember me. And I think it's
well, Jerry, that's actually very pretty. Who wrote that?
Who wrote it? Oh, yeah. I don't know. Who knows? It's an old poem, probably some old guy dead and gone.
And just a few minutes of the great Fred Willard right there. You saw him, nice interview that the TV Academy does of a lot of people that, of course, have been on TV over the years. And there was a section of that on Fernwood Tonight. You heard a bit of the story, how he got that show. And, of course, a joke he told on David Letterman. He appeared on Letterman quite a bit as well. And we saw, of course, the sketch with Jay Leno, and then that little piece there with the end of a Fernwood Tonight show with the great Martin Mull. So we remember the great Fred Willard on the show tonight, and left a great legacy of comedy. And we appreciate his work, and of course it'll always be there. We can check it out as well. That's the great thing about YouTube and the computer. We can at least see their work again. But Fred Willard, 86 years old, passed away about 2 weeks ago as we do this show tonight. And a very offbeat kind of comedian, but very unique talent and a very funny man. So that'll do it for this edition, and we will be back again with you real soon. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you later.